Hello, and welcome back to our series on understanding life after. In the previous two videos, we talked about the camp technology system and the town hall data center. Today, we're going to go over very quickly the camp vault. In the camp vault, there are three main sections. You have costs, resources, and the sales section. In costs, it will show you all of the resources that you need for tomorrow's operation costs, including any tech. So you can see, for example, stone. We have 155,000 and we need 45,000 for tomorrow. And it's the same setup for stone, wood, gold, hemp, and food. Below that, you'll see tomorrow's op costs taken in order, daily camp operation costs taken at 3 o'clock. This is your daily operation cost, which is independent from your camp technology costs. This will be a different resource every day. So today it's stone and wood, but tomorrow it might be stone and food, or wood and hemp, or any combination of those four. This will not include gold though. You can see the completion effect is prosperity plus 550 and management plus 3. The failure effect is that armed personnel will strike, so they'll just disappear for a day and we'll lose 1 management. Under that, you'll see the different costs for each individual tech that you have running. So for Dangerous Patrolman, for example, it will cost about 3,600 gold and 36,000 stone. The cost for tech goes up for every consecutive day that you run it. So if you have a tech that you run every single day, it might be a good idea to turn it off for one day to kind of reset the cost. You can see the completion effect for technology is that the tech will actually run as expected, and the failure effect is that the tech will not run at all. You also have the option to change the order of these tech. Items in this list that are higher up will be taken out of your vault first. So if you have something you want to prioritize, I recommend moving it to the top. Our basic operation cost is always stickied to the top. It says manors breached 2, and the increased cost for those 2 manors is 10%. So every manor that gets breached in your camp will add 5% operation cost, and this is up to a maximum of 50%, so after 10 manors are breached, this number will stop going up. This info panel just talks a little bit about basically what we just mentioned, and also goes over briefly the sales section of the vault. This set of charts over here, these pie charts, they're actually the same thing as this section here. It's just a different way to represent the value of the vault resources that you need for cost. So you can see wood, this bar is filled because we have enough resources to pay the 17,000 that we owe. So over here it will show 100% because that's how much we have of what. It's the same for stone, hemp, and food as well. In resources, by default, you will see the list of resources that are set as your fiscal info goal in the data center. So we need redwood, cedar leaves, caster base, and rare earth ore for our next camp upgrade. And it will also show you your weekly contribution. This is the 2k weekly input that you'll see in the Town Hall data center. What this means is that by submitting an item to the vault, you get a small amount of camp contribution. You can spend your camp contribution at any of the vendors, and you can get up to 2,000 per week by submitting items to your vault. Once you reach 2,000, you can still submit items. It just won't give you contribution. If you slide over, it will show you all of the items that are in the vault, including your gold and your composite building materials. Submitting items to the vault will give you contribution, but it will also help your camp pay for operation costs. So you can see every stack of item in here is categorized into one of the 4 main resource categories: wood, stone, hemp, and food. So items like beast fur and grease and horns and teeth all count as food in the camp vault, and things like boxwood count as wood, secondaries from hemp count as hemp, and secondaries from stone count as stone. So when the operation costs actually hits, it will pull a little bit from each of these stacks to meet the requirement. This is where you would submit your gold. It's a good idea to have members regularly putting in small amounts of gold just so that you can afford things like tech and also your Trade City applications. You never really want to run out, but you also don't need a huge amount of gold in your vault. Submitting gold or composite building materials will each give you 1 contribution per item, and that will count towards your 2k. Most of the time, it's not super necessary to add composite building materials to your camp, as building infrastructure really uses a small amount of this, and 732,000, I don't think we'll ever actually use all of that. If you click on this little clipboard at the top here, it will show you a list of all of your vault transactions. Most of this is going to be a log of people submitting items to the vault, so you can get a good idea of which members are regularly helping out your operation costs. But if you scroll down far enough, you will find the last operation cost that got hit, and it will show you how it came up with the resources that so it was looking for 10,000 stone, and it pulled 146 copper, 139 malachite, 29 camosite, and so forth. In the sell section, you have the option to list items from your camp vault on one of the 3 trade cities for that day. I don't really recommend doing this. As you can see, the tax rate for doing this is 15%. It's a little bit lower if you just sell items directly to the trade city. So if you really need gold in your vault, maybe sell items to trade city and then deposit gold directly to the vault. Most of the time, your camp will need these resources rather than needing gold. And it's, in my opinion, gold is a little bit easier to come by than mass amounts of resources. So that's pretty much the basics of the camp vault. Really not much else to say about it. It just sort of gives you information about your costs, information about your resources, a history of who submits items, the items you need for upgrades, things like that. Stay tuned for the next video, as we'll be talking about how all of these systems interact with each other, and I'll be giving some information on how you can get the most out of your camp using these systems. That video will most likely be up on Friday, so I will see you next time. Submitting gold or composite building materials will give you 1 contribution for each... Really? Submitting either gold or composite building materials